Hello, everyone. I'm Dijon,
Not my era.
and welcome to the Mustardcast, the podcast about the art of storytelling and how it's used across different mediums. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see our channel grow, and to click the notification bell so that you're notified when we post. As usual, free Palestine. Always do everything you can to support them. So, starting with animation, what cartoons have you been watching lately?
Good question. Good question. Like I said, still pretty busy with media work, so I haven't had any time to really sit down and watch stuff. But I have been kind of like peeking my head over the wall and writing down things that I do need to watch. Mostly Penny and Stocking. Was it Dun Dun Dun? I know that's out. I'll probably watch that tonight because I'll have the time and stuff like that. So yeah, I've been mostly reading books over the summer. Surprisingly,
Oh,
I've
some
been
summer
enjoying that a
reading.
lot. But yeah, lots of summer reading.
Yeah, I need to actually watch the latest episode of Dan Dan later too. Um,
Mm.
But yeah, for me, still watching Batman Beyond and One Piece alongside Blind Wave, and Batman Beyond so good. I love that show. Same with One Piece, and I've been thinking of like trying to catch up on the manga because I've just been seeing some stuff. And I was like, oh, this is cool. And the show is reigniting my love of One Piece. Like One Piece, top 10 anime for me, but
Mm.
it's so long, and I fell behind, and I'm like, I got to catch up. I'm like, how far am I? I'm like an arc and a half behind or something like that. I stopped at the beginning of Wano, and then I started to watch it again, and I watched like the first like three
Mm.
episodes of that arc, and then I realized I'm not gonna watch this because the pacing of One Piece, because it's like one of the oldest currently ongoing manga that isn't like JoJo's a like one like I think the longest running manga of all time, but the like
Right.
anime adaptation only started in like 2014, whereas One Piece has
Yeah.
been around since '99 in terms of the anime. So it
Mm.
still is made like it's an anime from 1999 because the pacing is
Oof.
still abysmal. It's horrible. It's
Right.
very slow paced. They tend to adapt less than one chapter every episode, from my understanding, and I'm just
Oh
don't have
wow.
time to deal with that, so I'm just gonna read it. Which I had started.
Makes sense.
I had stopped. Well, when I caught up back in the whole cake at the no at the beginning of the Dressrosa arc is when I caught up, and I was reading it back then, and I read all the way up to Wino, and then I stopped. So one of these days, I think I'm gonna start to catch up.
Real.
But yeah, of course, like I said, I need to watch the latest episode. But essentially the conclusion to the arc that began at the end of the last season, just wrapped up with the last
Mm.
episode, and that's where I'm leaving off in the show so far. But lastly, what I've been watching, I checked out Eyes of Wakanda, the 4 episode anthology series set in the past of Wakanda. It released a few days ago. And it was really good. It was so good that I wish there was more. It sucks that this was only 4 episodes, and I hope that maybe it gets a
Mm.
season two because the art style feels very much like it feels almost like they took the like '90s Disney movie, like Disney Renaissance art style, and made it 3D. And it's done
Ooh.
in very much, you can tell it's taking inspiration from things like Spider Verse and Arcane. With it's 3D, but like there's a lot of really cool textures. It looks really good. Like honestly, I'm looking at it, especially the second episode, which follows a soldier amidst the Trojan War, attempting to breach the city's defenses and retrieve an artifact. Because the kind of whole premise of the show is you're following Wakanda's war dogs, which are agents from Wakanda that are sent across the world to recover stolen vibranium. So in the second episode,
Mm.
there's a soldier going to recover vibranium from Troy during the Trojan War, and
Wow.
he's like best friends with Achilles. It's really cool. Um, and yeah, in that episode, especially because there's uh, Greek people in it, it
Mm.
reminds me of Hercules in terms of the art style, especially the way that they designed Achilles. He looks like a character
Mm.
from that movie, and I'm like, I want a Hercules movie that's in this specific art style from
Ooh.
Disney. Yeah, it's really good. It's almost like what I've been saying, where I
Mm.
said like, why doesn't Disney make Marvel like animated movies? And this feels like that. This feels like one of Disney's animation studios making a
Mm.
Marvel animated thing, and I'm not really sure who animated it. Um, if it was an actual Disney studio or if it was a studio outside of Disney, but it feels very Disney.
Mm.
But yeah, it's good. It's a good show. And
It looks sick.
each
Yeah.
episode is only 30 minutes. Sometimes they go a little bit over, like 31, 32. But of course, most of the episodes probably like credits anyway. But so it's really
Mm.
probably like 20 something, almost 30. And there's only
Makes sense.
4 episodes, so it's a real quick watch. So I definitely recommend checking it out.
I just might.
But yeah, in animation news, there was a Pokemon Direct a few weeks ago.
Oh.
And there
Yeah.
was a couple pieces of animated news, starting with Pokemon Concierge Season 2, another 4 episode series. It's coming it's coming back on September 4th with another 4 episodes. And for those of you who don't know, Pokemon Concierge is about Haru, who is a down on her luck, who is down on her luck, and visits a resort known as the Pokemon Resort. There, she becomes a concierge working on the island in order to care for its Pokemon visitors. Yeah, it's a really fun show. It's just it's cozy. That's all it is. It's just a cozy show
Yeah, the art style is super cute.
about this lady helping Pokemon relax at the resort and finding herself at the same time. It's really fun. And the episodes are only around like 15 to 20 minutes long. Very short episodes. It's only 4 episodes in the first season, so it's very very easy watch, and
Mm.
it's stop motion with these felt puppets.
Yeah.
It's really cool. But
It's real charming.
yeah, part of the woes we hear about from Haru's past in season one is, I believe, a breakup with. Yeah, it was
Oh.
just a breakup, and in this season, it seems like her ex boyfriend is coming to the resort for some reason or
Oh
another.
no.
So I'm curious to see how that goes. But yeah, this it was a really good show. I'm excited to watch more of it.
Me
And I
too.
think she has a Psyduck, which is really cool.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a fun show. But we
Very underrepresented Pokemon.
Psyduck, I don't know about that. He was like uh
Well,
the second girl in Pokemon's main Pokemon, wasn't Psyduck?
was it? It's been so long since I've even
I
thought
can't
about
remember her
the
name.
Pokemon
Misty
animated
was the
series.
first one. Who's the second one?
Misty.
Was Misty the second one?
Uh, no, Misty was the first one.
Yeah,
Who
who's the
was
second
the
one?
second? I don't remember.
Because Misty had Togepi, right?
Right. Yeah.
And Psyduck was the main Pokemon of the girl in the second one. I can't remember her name. Let me look it up. Dawn. That was her name.
Dawn. Right. I forgot about Dawn.
I know she had. It looked like she had Puplip actually, or maybe I'm tripping. I don't know.
Oh.
I know somebody has
Maybe.
Psyduck. Somebody has Psyduck at some point. but
I
anyway,
believe you.
um,
Yeah.
it was also announced that Aardman, the stop animation studio, behind Wallace and Gromit and Chicken Run and various other,
Mhm.
stop motion claymation animated movies and shows, is creating a Pokemon animated series in their signature style. Uh, it's called The Misadventures of Sirfetch'd and Pichu, and it is coming sometime in 2027. And we saw a little teaser at the Pokemon Presents in July. In the few seconds shared, we see a Wooloo in the foreground, while in the background, Sirfetch'd just running around with Pichu. And I have a couple quotes
Mm.
from people from both Aardman and the Pokemon Company. Taito Ikiura, VP of Marketing and Media at the Pokemon Company, commented, "This is a dream partnership for Pokemon. Aardmen are masters of their craft, and we have been blown away by their talent and creativity. What we have been working at on together ensures our global Pokemon fans are in for a treat." And Sean Clark, managing director at Aardman, added, "It's a huge honor to be working with the Pokemon Company International. We feel sincerely privileged to be trusted with bringing their characters and world to life in a brand new way. Bringing together Pokemon, the world's biggest entertainment brand, together with our love and craft," which is true. It is 100%
Yeah.
the most profitable brand, period, on the face of planet Earth, which is wild.
For sure. For sure.
Bringing together Pokemon with the world's biggest entertainment brand, together with our love and craft, character and comedic storytelling feels incredibly exciting. Aardman and TPCI share an emphasis on heritage and attention to detail, as well as putting our fans and audiences at the heart of what we do, which we know will steer us right as we together create charming, original, and new stories for audiences around the world. So yeah, what did you think of the little teaser they sent and Aardman working
I
on
thought
a
that
Pokemon project in general?
I thought the teaser was really cute. I'm really excited. I didn't really grow up with Wallace and Gromit and Chicken Run as much as like a lot of other people did,
Like
but
European
I
people.
love our huh?
I said like European people.
Yeah, yeah. But like I really have always like loved and admired Artman's style and like just the fluidity and how much charm is in their claymation. So to see Pokemon like in that kind of style, it's so exciting. It's so exciting.
Yeah, looks like it'll be really fun. But it's animation and it's stop motion, so it's going to take a while. So, not it. It's going to be over a year before we see this coming in 2027.
Mhm.
So there was also Comic Con um in the past week. So we got a bit of news from that as well. Starting with
Ooh.
Avatar 7 Havens. Uh Drops
Yes.
first look at a new Earthbender avatar set after The Legend of Korra and or Legend of Korra. And this is coming from Jordan Moreau at Variety. The artwork was revealed at San Diego Comic Con on Thursday, where Avatar celebrated its 20th anniversary. Seven Havens follows two earthbending twins when one discovers she's the Avatar, the latest person who can wield all four elements air, water, earth, and fire. The new series is set in a world shattered by a devastating cataclysm. A young earthbender discovers she's new Avatar after Korra. But in this dangerous era, that title marks her as humanity's destroyer, not its savior. Hunted by both humans and spirit enemies, she and her long lost twin must uncover their mysterious origins and save the Seven Havens before civilization's last stronghold collapses. Yeah, in the first look image, it shows the young Avatar and her half cat, half lemur looking pet tagging along behind her, while another person, presumably the sister they're referring to, walks behind her in a rocky desert land with a city in the far distance and mysterious lights brightening the sky. The show will have 26 episodes split into two seasons, so presumably 13 episodes each. But yeah, what did you think from just that initial look and the bit of information we have?
I really like the initial look and I like the premise from the information we
Mm,
have, but I also feel so heavily for this avatar. She seems so young.
yeah,
And to have that like
I
that
mean,
title of world destroyer thrust upon her, that's kind of
yeah. I mean, it seems
sad.
like she's around the same age Angla is. Angla's like 12.
I know, and it's crazy to think about. Like I don't know. It's just like there's something about her that looks much younger than Aang did, and I don't know how to like reconcile that in my head because they're the same age, but she's just like she's baby to me. She's only so big. Also, I do like the very casual disability rep with
Yeah,
her prosthetic leg. I think that's really cool.
yeah. The question has always been for I think a lot of people, how close to the modern day will they allow Avatar to go? And it seems like they answered that question by just blowing up the planet and setting it back hundreds of years. They were just like, we're not going to let it get close because we're just going to destroy it all and
Yeah,
send them back
that'll
to the
do it.
Stone Age. But that is a very fun and clever solution, all things considered.
Yeah.
Plus, this is a world now that has lived alongside spirits for at least one generation, probably more, since Korra. So I'm curious how those relations have evolved um, over the years, especially since the world building has always been one of my favorite parts of Avatar, of both
Me
series.
too.
So learning more about this world and how it's evolved is what interests me the most.
Yeah.
But I am still curious about the new characters. And like you mentioned, uh, there has been a bit of outrage from the usual alt right, grifters, about the new Avatar being disabled and missing a leg. Because the legs are like foundational to earthbending. But this isn't the first time we've seen a disabled bender. The most famous one, of course, being another earthbender, Toph, who is blind.
Right.
But also
Exactly.
in the Legend of Korra, why do I keep saying Korra? Why can't I say Korra? In the Legend of Korra, a member of the Red Lotus, Minghua, water bends without arms, which are also foundational to water bending. And we
Right.
also see King Boomy bend Earth with his chin.
I was
So
to bring up the King Boomy thing exactly because it's like, oh, legs are foundational to being an earthbender. Okay, but Bumi's whole thing. Like, if this new Avatar is cracked enough, she'll be fine.
But
Which I
also,
think she will
she
be.
still has a leg, and then she has
Right.
a Earth leg that she can also manipulate. So it's like I'm sure she'll be fine.
It's like I think she's got it handled.
Yeah, if anything, I think it's more interesting that she's disabled, and I want to see how she
Right.
uses that in fighting.
Exactly. And like people are acting like, "Oh, it's the woke left," but we've always like especially like non-benders, what's his name? I think I forgot his name from the first Avatar, but he was in it was like that group of people that lived in like the old air temple, and
Oh
he was
yeah,
in a
yeah, I know you're talking about.
wheelchair. But yeah, the adventure group. Yeah, it's like nothing is new. Please keep up.
There's always been
Don't
a
piss me off.
lot of disabled rep in Avatar, like a lot of it.
Right, like
It's
it's
crazy. It's
almost
actually
like
crazy how much there has been. I'm just realizing just how much disabled rep there actually is in there, and how diverse it is.
yeah, it's almost like some of that is like crux to the point of the narrative where it's like no matter who you are, you can do anything you set your mind to. But it's not like I watched the show or anything.
Yeah.
Of course, these alt-right grifters know way more about it than I do. As if it wasn't a part of my childhood. I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
annoying. It's so annoying.
Yeah, for sure. But presumably, Korra will be the only avatar in her head. So I'm curious what their dynamic will be like. Um,
Mm,
and over the years, I've grown to appreciate the boldness of the decision to destroy the past lives of the Avatar in Legend of
yeah.
Korra season 2, and I could see the storytelling potential both with Korra like they tried to do in the show, but also with the next Avatar. With that said,
Mm,
I do not want it to be permanent. I do want at some
yeah.
point,
No.
after they have their fun and can tell a good story with Korra being the only avatar in this person's head, that they find a way to bring back the past lives. Because I do think it works for the story they were telling in the moment, but it's something that needs to be undone because I don't
Yeah.
like it. But also people trying to blame that on Korra have always been so weird. It's not like she wanted it to happen or she actively did it herself. She was attacked by her
Right.
uncle and had a spirit forcibly ripped out of her body. Like, and
Right.
I don't think it was purposeful, but I know that one of the like writers that worked on the show said that like there's a like that they at least kind of always perceived it to be a bit of a allegory for the real life sexual assault of young women by people in their family, and to
Right.
then have real life people victim blame like they to do in real life when that happens is just so unfortunate.
Insane.
It's
Yeah.
insane because you watch the show and then you walk away and think it's her fault. How?
Right.
People just want to blame the woman in this situation. They can't. They just can't
100%.
fathom the when something bad happens to a woman that it's not their fault in a fictional story,
Right.
especially where they feel like they have the room to be worse people because it's not a real person, which is like, no,
Yeah.
that's not how that
And she's
works.
queer on top of that. It's just like it's Cora, my beloved. I feel for you.
Yeah, but I'm excited for this. I love the Avatar. They also have,
Me
we also
too.
have a movie coming up, which they did a bit of a casting announcement, I think, and um, why am I forgetting his name?
Steven Yeun.
Steven Yeun is voicing Aang, not
Yeah.
Aang, Zuko, which is weird.
Oh.
It's so weird.
Actually, kind of excited for it.
Like he'll do good. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
Dante Bosco is a grown ass man.
It's iconic. I
He's a
know.
grown ass man. He can keep voicing Zuko. I'd like it. I don't really see the purpose in recasting Zuko. Like it's different for other
Yeah.
characters that weren't played by Asian people, but Zuko was already played by an Asian person.
Right.
So, of all the characters that didn't need to be changed, it was him. But I think their thought process
Definitely
is
him.
if we're gonna change everyone, we might as well change everyone.
Got it.
But like
Yeah, because I think it would be weird.
to have him be the only one with the same voice.
Yeah.
Like
Like it
I
would
get
throw
it.
me off real bad.
Like
Yeah.
I would care because it's Zuko. He's the best character in the show. But
Right.
like, I get it. And Stevie Yeun do good. So, he's great as Mark
Yeah.
in Invincible.
Mm-hmm. Wait, Steven Yeun is Mark in Invincible?
You didn't know this? Yes,
No, I didn't know
he
this.
is the
This is
titular
crazy.
Invincible.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I would
Um,
have never known if you would have never told me.
we're three
He's a
seasons
good
in.
voice actor. In my defense, I only watch it by proxy. I do that thing that dads do where it's like, "What you watching?" And they'll like stand by the couch and watch it with you for a little while. That's how I watch Invincible
That's
and The
funny.
Boys and whatnot.
But yeah, maybe I don't have to put Invincible in the book club.
I'd
but
be down to read it for sure.
we also got a teaser for The Legend of Vox Machina season 4, where we see
Yeah.
the crew planning a heist. You know, excited for that because every season that show just gets better. Which
Hmm.
did you watch season 3?
I need to catch up. I
Ah,
I watched like the first 2 episodes and then kind of fell off of it. I don't remember why.
you gotta watch season 3. It's so good.
I
Um,
am to prepare for season 4.
yeah, it's also been announced that it's been greenlit for season 5, which will also be the final season.
Oh
Um,
snap!
but of course, that's not the end of Critical Role's animated series because we got a teaser
Of course.
trailer for the adaptation of their second campaign, The Mighty Nine. And in the
Yes, that's the one
trailer,
I actually like a
yeah, in
little
the
better.
trailer, we're introduced to the various characters as they're being detained and interrogated for committing a crime. And the cast of characters include Lord Bailey as cleric Jester, Marisha Ray as monk Bo, Taliesin Jaffe as hunter Molly, Ashley Johnson as barbarian Yasha, Liam O'Brien as wizard Caleb, Travis Willingham as warlord or warlock Ford, and Sam Riegel as Goblin Not the Brave. And Matt Mercer is probably going to be voicing a lot of characters, but one of the main characters
Yeah.
he's voicing is the dark elf Essek Thelis. Yeah, so
Mm.
yeah. Also, apparently, the Mighty Nine will have hour-long episodes,
Yeah, sounds
which
about
also
right.
means it's probably the seasons are probably going to be half as long,
Hmm.
which is fine if the episodes are double the length as well.
Yeah, I'm saying
So yeah, that's exciting. Definitely
very
excited
exciting.
for Mighty Nine and for Vox Machina to wrap up its story because I did get like kind of spoiled on some things because Critical Role clips just pop up in my feed now, and
Mm.
sometimes it's from the Vox Machina campaign, and I have to like sometimes I watch them, sometimes I skip them, but sometimes I watch them and get spoiled about future stuff.
Right.
But yeah, that's all I have for animation. We're not gonna do our talking about what we've been reading. We'll save that for when we actually
Right.
record that section. Because
Yeah.
I want Bree to actually hear how many comics I'm reading all the time. Uh,
Of course.
I need them to know the sheer amount
Right.
of comics that I'd be reading. So moving on to comics, we have Bree joining us for the entire comic session this time. So we like to start with what books we've been reading lately, not just comics. So Ayer, why don't you start and then Bree, you can go after that.
So for me, I've been doing my summer reading still. I am, I think, 1/4 of the way into Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. And while I wasn't really feeling Sam's character at first, I'm gunning for him now. He's great, and I love the dynamic he has with I forgot her name, the female lead. Her name escapes my brain, and I'm kind of sad about it because I like her too. I like them both. I like the dynamic they have. It's really nice. On top of that, I've been reading. What else? What else? What else? I forgot what the other book was called, so never mind. I'm not even gonna mention it. Still on Helsing. Still on Lady Snowblood. And those have been really, really good. I picked Claymore back up. I dropped it for a while because just didn't have the time to read it, but I picked that up and that's been great. I've also started this manga, and it's called like "There's No Freaking Way I'll Be Your Lover Unless," and it's like about these two like high school girls, and it's like one of them confesses to the other, but the other one like is purely interested in staying friends, and so they have this like system where it's like they'll try out half of the time they'll be a couple, half the time they'll be friends, and at the end by the end of like a certain time frame they'll see which one they want to be for the rest of their like high school time, and it's been really cute. It's been really cute. And I like it a lot, but those are my things.
That actually sounds really interesting.
It is, and there's a anime adaptation airing on YouTube right now, and it's the cutest thing ever.
Oh, I might have to give it a watch then.
Yeah.
You want to say something? Oh, okay. So I haven't really read any comics aside from the Wonder Woman one, but
Right.
so far I have read a one shot, like a manga, and then I'm currently reading something else. So the one shot manga was about this kid who was like basically turned into like a monster by this witch and is like ostracized by the town and like even his mother. Like he keeps going to town every day to see his mom, and his mom was like, "You're not my son. If you were my son, he wouldn't come to town looking like this. Like you're a disgrace." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is terrible." But the manga that I'm currently reading is about a salaryman who goes to work at like around 5 a.m. But before he goes to work, he gets food and he comes across a host who goes like is like coming off of work. So they always meet at like this bar, and I'm like only on like the first chapter, and so far it's really cute. I like it.
Ooh,
Like they don't even know each other's names. They're just like meeting and talking, and like it's like very casual. But like
that
there's
sounds
like some love in there, or at least through my perspective, there is like a hint of like love in there.
interesting.
Sounds cool.
So nothing serious, just some casual reading.
Yeah, so I've been very like trying to like decide whether or not I wanted to keep reading the Witcher book that I'm on. I think I'm on Time of Contempt. Or hop back into Mistborn with the third book, final book of that, just final book of that part of the story, because the next two books are like in the future or something. So I don't need to read those immediately. And I decided, let me give Mistborn a break. The Witcher, I'm kind of iffy on right now, so I'm gonna finish that later and decide if I even want to continue reading The Witcher after that. And I decided let's just read something new. There are a couple of books that have just been like the previews have been sitting in my Kindle for a while, and I was like, let's check out these previews to see if I like them and want to buy them. And the book I checked out and ultimately liked and purchased and I'm reading is The Poppy War. By let me look up who the author is right now. By R.F. Kuang. It is this like Chinese fantasy novel
Ooh.
about a world that has gone. They live in this like very China inspired country, um, and they recently went to war with this universe's version of Japan. Like as you read it, you can tell like they try to make it very clear, kind of like the historical context and like what the different countries are. Like even though they're going by different names, just by the historical context and the names themselves, you can tell like this country's Europe, or this country I mean is England, and this country's Japan, and the main country is China, and it's real good. It's real fun so far. It's not this. I'm still pretty early into it, but so far it's about the main character, um, who's a girl named Runan going to a military school. She grew up as an orphan from the last war and was raised essentially. Families are forced to adopt war orphans, and she was adopted by a family that does not like her and they abuse her. So to escape them, she had to qualify for one of the free military schools. But to do that, she had to like rank like real high. She took the test. She ranked number one in her province, and she's going to the best military school in the country for free.
Wow.
And that's where the story really starts. That's like the first chapter. All that happens. Um, but yeah, I'm enjoying that. Now on to the ungodly amount of comics I'm reading. So I read
Hmm.
The Ultimates number 13, Ultimate Wolverine number 7, Ultimate Spider-Man number 18, Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion number 2, and Imperial number 3. Those are all the Marvel comics I'm reading currently. For every one Marvel comic, there's at least 2 DC comics. But yeah, the Ultimate Universe, the new Ultimate Universe is really fun. The Ultimates is still, I think, my favorite of them all. Um, but Ultimate X-Men is awesome. I haven't read the latest, not even the latest issue because I'm like 3 issues behind. But the latest issue I'm on yet, but I'm enjoying that a lot. I implore you to look up the art of Peach Momoko, Brie. I ever seen it 1,000 times, but Peach Momoko's art is incredible. She's currently the current artist and writer on Ultimate X-Men. It's awesome. Imperial is this like spacefaring event that's happening in the main Marvel universe has been really fun, and I'm enjoying a lot. By who's writing it? Jonathan Hickman. Um, I read Battle Beast number 2. Battle Beast is a spin-off of Invincible, starring Battle Beast who's a character from that comic that fan favorite that I've always liked that they decided to give a little spin-off. The artist of Invincible especially really liked Battle Beast, and he was happy to start drawing a comic about him by same writer
Is
as
that the
the original as
white
well.
lion tiger
Yes,
thing?
it is.
Oh, okay, cool,
Yeah, he
cool.
has his own comic now. It's really good. Um,
Ooh.
in terms of DC, I read New Gods #7, Batman Superman World's Finest #40, Absolute Wonder Woman #9. I'll force you guys to read that eventually. Justice League Unlimited #8, Superman #27. What was it, like legacy issue number 1000 something? Mr. Terrific Year 1 #2, Absolute Martian Manhunter #4, which Absolute Martian Manhunter is easily the second best Absolute comic after Wonder Woman. It is great. In this universe, Martian Manhunter is like not a Martian, but instead this other type of alien that is real weird. And he looks like, I don't even know, he looks like a children's cartoon character made of like Play-Doh. And he's inside this detective's mind and like helping him solve cases, but the cases involve other like these other interdimensional like extra dimensional beings that are like messing with people's minds, and they're like trying to work together to stop them. It's really cool. Very trippy. Green Arrow #25, Flash #2, Two-Face, I read issues #5 and 6. I'm slowly but surely catching up on it. Fire and Ice, When Hell Freezes Over, #1 and 2, also trying to catch up on that. Absolute Green Lantern #4, Batgirl #9, which Batgirl is probably my favorite main DC comic out right now. It is so good. Maybe I'll make you guys read that as well. And another comic that features Batgirl, Birds of Prey, #19 through 22. I'm now caught up on Birds of Prey, which is great. And lastly, outside of DC and Marvel, another Image comic like Battle Beast, I'm reading Scarlet, which is a G.I. Joe comic book featuring one of the G.I. Joe characters, Scarlet. She's pretty cool. And the reason I picked it up is because it's being written by Kelly Thompson, who writes Absolute Wonder Woman. So I was like, I'm gonna like this. So yeah, that's everything I'm reading. Reading 1,000 comics all at once. But
That's a long list.
For sure.
yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time. It's just a lot. Just a lot. And I've been catching up. I'm caught up on most of the comics that I'm actively reading. It took me a while to get there, but I'm caught up and I'm keeping up whenever they release. In between, comics release every Wednesday. American comics. So I try and read all the comics that came out that week before the next Wednesday. And I got a couple of comics I need to finish before next Wednesday. But I'm also reading some manga, actually. Still reading Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man's great. You got to catch up out here. Kagurabachi's great. And that last chapter was the final chapter of Kaiju #8. So that's done.
Oh.
Cool.
And I need to not fall behind on my manga because I feel like I forget about them sometimes. And I don't want to fall behind on Kagurabachi, and I'm 2 chapters behind now. We're going to talk about Wonder Woman Historia, The Amazons, issue #2, which we've all read. Like last time, I read it last night because I wanted it to be fresh in my mind.
I did too.
Written by
Same.
Kelly Sue DeConnick. Pencils and inks by Jean Ha. Colors by Wesley Wong. Letters by Clayton Cowles. Cover by Jean Ha. And edited by Chris Conroy and Andrea Shea. The synopsis for this issue is the second installment of the jaw-droppingly ambitious history of the Amazons finds their future queen, Hippolyta, cutting a swath through the world of men, desperate to be reunited with the astonishing woman who saved her life. But unfortunately for her, they're hard folk to find. Perhaps it is the will of the goddesses that they cross paths again, but before that moment, Hippolyta will gather to herself a tribe of her very own and find that the hearts of all women do not necessarily burn with a flame as righteous as her own. So once again, let's start with the art. This time is being drawn by Jean Ha, a different artist from last time, with colors brought to life by a different person as well, Wesley Wong. This is your guys' first experience of many to come, with artists changing sometimes from chapter to chapter in comics. Luckily, in this instance, it's just as good, in my opinion, in terms of art. Um,
Mm.
and it was likely the plan from the beginning, but that is not always the case. In some books, the artist just gets busy with life or other books that they're also drawing. And sometimes someone else has to fill in for them for a couple chapters. And sometimes that artist, not as good. Um, so you're gonna start
Yeah.
experiencing that as we get through these comics. But because we're reading shorter comics, it's not gonna happen that often, unless we sit down and decide to read something longer one of these days. For the most part, we're probably gonna be consistently reading comics that have one artist all the way through. Um,
Mm.
except for times like this where it's very purposeful. But yeah, what did you guys think of the changing art?
I will say I did notice a change, but I couldn't like put my finger on what. But I will say I was able to like read it more like consistently from like the first chapter. Like there wasn't too much going on where like my eyes were all over the
Not
place.
as many two-page spreads
Yeah,
this time.
for
Yeah,
sure.
like it's legit comic style.
Mm. Yeah, like I noticed, but I wasn't sure if like I was just like it the first chapter wasn't fresh enough in my mind that I'm misremembering. But like I was like when it showed that that I don't know if you would call that a 2-page spread even, but when it was like talking about all the tribes of the Amazons and like them giving thanks to their patron goddesses, I was like, this looks different. They look different, and I don't know how to place it, but I don't know. But now I feel vindicated that it wasn't just me, and the artist did actually change.
Gaslighting herself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're reading a comic and the art looks different, it probably is. Because that happens every now and again. It isn't always for the worse, but sometimes you're just like, what happened? but y- but yeah, I don't know if you I keep hitting my mic, sorry. I don't know if you guys read the very end of the book where the artist Gene Ha kind of goes into detail about how they adapted the script from Kelly Sue DeConnick. Um and how like DeConnick kind of describes their script as kind of I forget the words exactly. Let me actually open that up and see if I can read them. Yeah, I already have it open actually. She uses a very like flowery like metaphor, but essentially she says like there are suggestions. And for this comic specifically, that's not always the case
Mm-hmm.
with comics, but with this comic specifically, she wanted the artist to kind of just interpret what she's saying a lot more instead of be so literal. And the way she wrote the script was in a way to where it can be interpreted in many different ways so that the artist can kind of just put their own fingerprint on it. um but they also talk about how they hide Artemis in the background everywhere, and once you see
Yes,
it
I
you
noticed
can't
that.
unsee it. And I went back and like
Yeah.
her face is found formed out of trees and clouds all over the place. It's crazy. I did not notice it
I
until it was
thought that was
pointed
so
out, and then
cool.
I went back and noticed it. And I was like, wow, how didn't I see that?
I was tripping out as I was reading it because I was like, is that supposed to be a person? Because there was like a deer standing in front of like stone, but the stone was
Yes,
carved to like look like a
the
body. And I was
stone
Yeah.
like,
was
am I?
carved to look like a body. Exactly. It was, and that's very purposeful. I'm glad you noticed it. I'm glad you
I
noticed it
noticed it
before reading the
immediately.
end, because I didn't notice it at all. Because
I was like, things keep changing. What is this?
the things that happen with me with comics is sometimes I forget to appreciate the art and I kind of just read it like a novel. That happens with me all the time, especially since I'm reading so many comics all the time. I just forget to look at the art and I'll just read it. I'll just read the words and then turn the page. And then I'll have to be like, wait, I didn't look at anything that happened on that page. Let me turn the page back and actually appreciate the art. So sometimes I miss that stuff.
It's so spooky, but so cool. Like they
Yeah.
did a great job.
But going into more, I guess, story analysis. This chapter focuses a lot more on the Amazons now that they've been created, and Hippolyta has been sent down the path of joining their ranks. And I love how they frame the Amazons' violence toward the beginning of the book, as Hippolyta looks for them. It's seen as senseless to most, but the truth is that it's being done in vengeance of women or to save them. And of course, the people of this time see nothing wrong with the mistreatment of women, So the Amazon's actions are seen as a disturbance of the peace and the natural order of things.
Mm.
And they get called man-hating savages, which I think they say something along those lines at some point in the book. But we of course know that's not the case. We even see Antiope stop, a young and new Amazon from killing a boy because she believes that he still has the potential for good, unlike grown men. The many grown men that they've murdered, because he's doing what he's told. He's not necessarily inherently cruel. These things are taught, and he has the potential
Mm-hmm.
to become a better person or not, and then we'll kill him if he does not become a better person.
Right.
But of course, young Tarpia is her name, doesn't see the wisdom in that. And after discovering that he poured hot oil on one of the enslaved woman's face, decides to go and finish him off. But
That shook me.
she makes the mistake of murdering him in broad daylight under a statue of Apollo as he prays to Apollo, the sun god, resulting in Apollo's rage and him snitching to
Mm-hmm.
Zeus, and Zeus then sending an army of his own warriors after the Amazons. And he says, exactly what I said. He considers what they're doing, which is just, what they're doing in the protection of women, as a perversion of the natural order. He says those exact words. Um,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, what did you guys think of this chapter of the book?
That whole
It's
sequence. Oh, go ahead.
no. I was just gonna say it stressed me out so bad.
Same. I would say the same thing because I didn't expect her to go and finish him off. 'Cause I was like, yeah, he is just a kid, but like, there's a possibility where he grows up and just continues what he was like taught, or he can like change. But the way that he was like scrounging around for food and went to go pray and was like, yeah, I want like revenge for like the people that was like killed around me and everything. I was like, I don't think there's a chance for him to be good. And then she just showed up. I'm like, how did she find him? First off, how did she
Right.
find him? And then Apollo just like, oh, look what they did to my beautiful boy. And like he gets an army after complaining to Zeus, after everyone else complained to Zeus about men, but once someone dies that's like praying to him, it's like, oh, all hell breaks loose. It was like,
Yeah,
where was
once
that
once a
other woman?
single boy dies, he grants Apollo an even bigger army than the Amazons have. But when they plead
That's
to
what
him
I'm
about the
saying.
millions of women that have been mistreated and murdered across centuries of the existence of man and woman, he does not give a
He's
fuck.
like, so is life.
He's
So is
like,
One.
life. Like
that's
that's supposed to happen.
exactly
Mm,
the self proclaimed God of justice.
mm.
But it's
You know
only
what? That
justice
He
for
harkens
men.
back
take it.
to
The justice only exists for men.
right.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Basically.
No, you're good. It harkens back to that panel of Hera when she's having that conversation with Athena, where it's like, there will be no justice for women, not now, not
Yes.
100 years from
And
now,
then we
not
see the future.
1,000. That,
Yes.
listen, that
Because
was one of my favorite sequences in the
yes,
whole book.
that whole page was great, and we just see the future going all the way
Hmm.
to modern times of just this book. As you if you read at the end, you'll hear them talking. Came out in like 2019. So
Wow.
like yeah, they was talking about modern day, like not like early 2000s or 90s today. um
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so that page
And
was
also the
great.
use of the golden ratio in that was,
Yes,
it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yes. This Yeah, and in the moment when Hippolyta is forming her seventh tribe of Amazons and trying to, bring in all of these lost women to the Amazons, we see that they're being taught more than just how to be warriors, because the Amazons are so much more than that. And the narrator says that they say that they're artists, they're mathematicians. They have to learn how to live in the world through more than just fighting. They fight to protect themselves and others, but they don't fight because there's some of them want to, some of them do enjoy fighting, but they aren't killing people because they want to. They're killing people to
Right.
protect others. The fighting they may enjoy, but then murdering necessarily not. They don't want to go around killing people. They're doing it because they feel like it's necessary to protect others.
Hmm.
And then you also have that one great analogy where one of the Amazons is like, imagine yourself a bear, and you're a bear that's being forced out of your forest to a cliffside. Um, and in that moment, you wish you were a bird. You wish you could fly, and you have no other choice but to jump off that cliff and hope that you can fly. And that's what's happening to all these women. They're being pushed to the edge, and they are becoming Amazons because they have no other choice. Because otherwise, it's go back to the forest and be mistreated.
Mm-hmm. And I also got, and this might just be me reaching, but like I got a very like I don't know, there was a very like queer tinted lens to that to me. Like it, I don't know how to explain like my thinking here, but like something about it felt like where it's like choosing. It's like that idea of like, oh, you can't be this thing because X, Y, Z, but really it's a thing of like if I don't. I had it in my notes, but I wrote it down kind of confusingly. It's like, um, yeah, like the idea of a mortal woman not being able to become an Amazon because of some arbitrary thing that makes her different really was like interesting to me. I don't know. I read it
That
under
is
a
very
very
interesting
trans lens.
because
Yeah.
it's a relatively more recent thing, but in I believe it is in Nubia and the Amazons. In that comic, they go over how like women are reborn. I don't think they get into that in this book, so I don't know if it's a spoiler. But how women are reborn as Amazons on the island, and it's through this well of souls. Women who die due to violence in man's world can be reborn through the well of souls on Themyscira.
Mm.
And in Nubia Woman of Tomorrow, for the first time, at least in like for it to happen in comics, in the universe is probably not the first time it's happened, but for the first time it's been highlighted in the comic, a trans woman was reborn on Themyscira. Um,
Oh.
Nice.
and them kind of being like, yeah, if you identify as a woman, you can be reborn here. Whether or not it works for like femme prison non-binary people, who knows? I assume so, but they haven't. Maybe one day they'll have that happen too. But essentially that it's an all-inclusive place for femme people in general, to kind of
Right.
be away from man's world as they call it.
Which is really refreshing because a lot of these stories, when it comes to like I don't know, not necessarily Wonder Woman in general, but like when it comes to that idea of like man's world versus woman's world, it's very reductionist on what a woman is, and they really like avoid falling into that pit trap um in this comic, and it's so refreshing to read. Like, I don't know. It's great. And also that bit where they were like talking about where each like tribe of Amazons finds their rest when I forgot her name, but she asked where they go in the daylight, and like it's like how like kind of it felt like an allegory of like how every woman like has different social and like physical and like just like we are not all like cookie cutter like men like to make us out to be, and it really like lends to the whole them like thematic thing going on with the Amazons, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that was very interesting to hear.
Hmm.
But yeah, it also I'm thinking about like after we read this, I'm thinking of like making you guys read just the first issue of um, George Perez's Wonder Woman, which is considered
Mm.
the best, most iconic Wonder Woman run. But that first issue, and some moments that are resultant of that first issue that happens later on in the comic, is interesting and weird and strange. And I've talked to you about it before, where this is kind of
Mm.
retelling the exact same thing that's told in that first issue in a better way. But that one, as an old comic written by a man, as great as he does, pretty great job writing women in that comic, and most people, including women, tend to love that comic. You know,
Hmm.
it has its flaws.
Mm.
And some things happen in that first chapter in their version of the Amazon's origin that I think it'd be interesting to have you guys read that. Like myself, I read this first and then I read that. And to see the difference. And in my mind, as I'm reading that comic, that didn't happen. This happened. This comic is the origin,
Right.
which is very easy to do sometimes with comics, is to ignore version, one version of the history for another. But I don't want to belabor this conversation. We can end that right here. I'm excited to read the last issue. Um, and kind of just be able to really talk about some very specific stuff um, that kind of involves having getting to the end of the story. This next issue is going to be exciting to read, especially the art. I know who the art is. It's Phil Jimenez. Phil Jimenez is the goat. It's going to be so good. But yeah, I'm excited for that.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're moving through this kind of quickly. Like we're already like
I know.
53% done with this. I'm like, already?
Oh yeah, one chapter left. We're done. We're on to the next one.
It's like it feels like it's been going super fast, but then also super slow at the same time. Like I've really been enjoying the pacing of it all.
Mhm.
Yeah. Which
Speaking of, one of the points that I wanted to touch on is when they are attacking like the traffickers basically. It seems like whenever they fight, it's like in rapid succession. Like everything's happening so quickly. Like
yeah,
how the women are drawn in
Mhm.
red and everyone else is just basically dropping dead.
yeah, very
That's how
efficient.
I'm envisioning it. I mean,
But yeah, this is a great discussion. I'm glad we're doing this now. I'm able to have these conversations with my friends about comics that we're all reading instead of just listing off the laundry list of dozens of comics that I'm reading. um, but yeah, it's a good time. Glad to have you on, Bree.
thank you. I'm glad to be here. Like I really needed like an excuse to actually sit and read something because anytime I do read something, I want to talk to someone about it, but like sometimes they're not as like into it as I am. So it was
Mhm.
great to have like this book club.
Yeah, it's gonna be a
Yeah.
good time. Yeah, moving on to TV and film. As usual, we'll start with movies and TV shows we've been watching. So, Christian, what have you been watching in the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, overall, it's just been a bit more television. Um, the show that I started a rewatch with my girlfriend is Insecure, and Insecure is just kind of one of those shows that just was very principled for me, and I feel like a lot of other folks my age in regards to just getting into television and just being black writers and young black filmmakers wanting to get into television. Insecure is just a very monumental show. And I watched it when I was in high school and I just appreciated it as a show. But being around the age of the characters and just a lot of things hitting close to home or just a lot of the themes ringing harder, it really made watching that pilot hit different. Like it just really resonated. So yeah, just kind of started rewatching that a bit. Um, yeah. Other than that, after a long process, I finally finished Mickey 17. Um, and it's kind of like part of me feels like there's factions. It's like you have the people that love all of Bong Joon Ho's movies, then you have the people that love like his American stuff, or like the people that solely love his Korean stuff. I really mess with Mickey 17. My favorite joint by him is probably Memories of Murder. That's probably still one of my favorites. Um, but I feel like Mickey 17 still fits within his filmography, and it's still a solid film. Um, is it a high point? I feel like people could debate that, but I do think it's a just a well made piece of satire. And even if the plot falls flat for folks, I think that visually is interesting, and that some of the just creature design, some of the ship design and architecture is very cool. So yeah, finally finished that film, and yeah, overall that's it. Yeah, that's kind of been the main stuff that I've really watched. Oh, wait a minute. At work, we watched a couple more films,
Mhm.
and it's just been rewatching. So we watched Aladdin,
I saw that.
um, and yeah, and yeah, Aladdin still holds up. Songs still hit. Um, the themes are still like that idea of like just be yourself, even though it's kind of cliche. It's still a great film, still a good character film, And then the Prince of Egypt is a masterpiece. Um, watched the Prince of Egypt
I don't think I've ever
yesterday
seen that
and
movie
or
all the way
today.
through.
It You could pause any frame of that film and it is just like it's a painting. It's everything about it is just a great period piece film. Yeah, Prince of Egypt is incredible. So
That's
rewatch
DreamWorks,
that
isn't it?
again. Yeah, it's DreamWorks.
They
This is
need,
when they was in their 2D
yeah,
bag.
they need to get back into
Yeah,
their 2D bag.
they do. It was just something. It was something different about what they were doing with 2D and mixing it with like CGI, but in a clever way. Like it was very cool what they were doing. It was like El Dorado, Prince of Egypt, Spirit, like all of those joints. Like they were really doing their thing. So yeah, overall, in regards to stuff that I've watched recently, that's really been it. But what about you?
For me, I haven't watched too much live action stuff lately. Mostly watch cartoons, but I did finish up season 4 of The Bear. Um, and yeah, that show's great. That show's so good. This season in particular has been very cathartic in comparison to previous seasons. And the various cast of characters this season, they learn a lot and grow a lot after a lot of the mess that happens in the first three, and that's very fun to watch. But just speaking on the platforms that the Bear can be found on, Hulu is officially merging with Disney Plus, as in Hulu will cease to exist
Oh,
uh, by the end of 2026 because yeah, I mean, this has just been in the works for a while now. Ever since they started testing the Hulu and Disney Plus feature, where you could access Hulu through Disney Plus. The moment that popped up, I was like, "Oh, it's out for Hulu. Hulu's about to be gone." Which on one hand, it's like
yeah,
you can't like it's hard to be mad about it because it's like okay, one less streaming service. That's that's not really a bad thing necessarily. But it also depends on if they increase like Plus's price to match it or something. Like right now, I have the bundle with Hulu,
right.
Disney Plus, and HBO Max, and I can only assume that like HBO and Disney bundles still can exist even once they merge with Hulu. Um, but like to be convenient to just have everything on Disney Plus to start and not even have to think about using Hulu. But also,
Right.
if the price doesn't increase, that would also be great. Of course, the price is going to increase at some point, but hopefully, it's not like some big major increase once they merge, and
Right.
that'll
And
just be more
hopefully it's
convenient.
not a Warner Brothers Discovery. Right. Yeah, and like hopefully it's not a Warner Brothers Discovery situation, and like the cartoon, like I don't think they'll
Yeah, I
do
don't
that.
think Disney is going
I
to make
hope.
that same mistake because I don't think Disney recognizes the importance of their cartoons, even if they want to keep making unnecessary live action remakes of them. They still recognize that like their cartoons are important. They also Disney isn't really in the business of licensing out their properties very much.
Yeah,
Like they
true.
have a streaming service that has everything that they ever made plus everything Fox has ever made now that they own them. So it's like why would they be stupid enough to hand that over to other streaming services when they can instead keep it all to themselves and get people to give people a reason to purchase theirs, which is what HBO should be doing, but
Right.
WB is being hit up by an idiot who only cares about the bottom line and not about making actually good content and something that will
Yeah.
be sustainable. So like yeah,
Right.
WB is being real weird right now. Um, yeah, I also watch the Fantastic Four First Steps twice. But I'll talk about that towards the end. I did
Mm.
give my own little solo review of it in the last episode. Um, but later on we can talk about it a bit more. You could you know kind of ask your questions, whatever you want to know about the movie, spoiler free. But moving on to some TV and film news. Amazon's God of War show will retain the tone of the 2018 reboot series, but may also reference the older Greek saga. This is coming from Victoria Philip Kennedy, Kennedy at Eurogamer. Speaking with Collider at San Diego Comic Con, Serious showrunner and former Battlestar Galactica executive producer Ronald D. Moore confirmed Amazon's God of War adaptation will remain largely faithful to Sony Santa Monica's 2018 game, though it won't be a frame by frame remake. So it seems like they're taking the Last of Us approach, where they're gonna try to adapt it best they can, but they're gonna make changes where necessary. And how much did you know about this adaptation in general? Did you know it was even happening, or have you like kept up with it in any way?
Yeah. I heard about it vaguely, especially when like PlayStation Studios was really getting into the swing of things, like with announcing Uncharted. Of course, like The Last of Us has been in production hell forever, but when they were really starting that recent push with PlayStation Studios, I heard about God of War and the potentiality of existing for a bit, but I didn't know that it was like really getting off the ground anytime soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really know that. Yeah.
Yeah. Ronald D. Moore said, "This world and this universe are really rich, and it's interesting, and it's really been fun to adapt." Moore explained, "It's an adaptation, so it's an adaptation slash interpretation as you go into live action. And it's been really fun to sort of go, wow, there's a lot here we can play with. Okay, we want to keep the story, we want to keep the characters and the spirit of it. There's all this stuff that we can keep turning for inspiration or turning to for inspiration." And he also adds that the game director, Cory Barlog, is actively involved with the project. With Moore calling Balrog,
Okay.
um, who also helmed the sequel, Ragnarok, a genius. So, it's always great when the people involved with making the game is actively, working on the adaptation. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, for me, they talk about in this article as well how there will be, some references to the older games, the first five. And, I don't expect them to go super deep. Like maybe they have a whole episode dedicated to it or something. I don't know. But I hope the
Hmm.
door is still open for them to potentially do a 2D adaptation of those original games because that's what I want the most. And
Yeah.
specifically, I want it to be directed and written by Zack Snyder. Now I know that sounds weird, but hear me out. And it's not just because of his
Yeah,
work
I
on
don't think that's
300.
weird.
It's not because of his work on 300 at all. That actually didn't even cross my mind until I was taking notes for the podcast. The reason I say that is because Zack Snyder directed and wrote an animated series based on Norse myth called Twilight of the Gods for Netflix, and it was awesome. The art style reminded me of Samurai Jack and Genndy Tartakovsky, who created Samurai Jack in Dexter's Lab, and it the Twilight of the Gods made me realize that Zack Snyder's ideas are best realized in animation because seeing the concept
Yeah.
art for Rebel Moon made me go, why the hell wasn't Rebel Moon animated? Because that concept art looks so good and just makes me go, this would look so much better in animation. Because I feel like he can, like a lot of the lofty ideas he has can be achieved through animation a lot better than live action. And also just sometimes animation, really good animation especially, can really elevate uh, a mediocre story if it has some solid ideas. And you said last episode
Yeah.
that you believe that Zack Snyder is our generation's George Lucas. I want you to expand on that.
Yeah. Um, in regards to that concept, George Lucas is a great visual storyteller. Like he's great at visual storytelling, like narrative beats and nailing it. Like he's great with the camera. Um, Even though like he's George Lucas did other stuff, like he did like that one coming of age film American Graffiti before the film that changed everything. He just done a lot of interesting stuff, but I feel like he's a very visual guy.
And recently,
However,
I don't remember where I saw the article, but
it's so
like
good.
uh, he's never liked directing. Like that's never been his thing. He didn't want to direct. He didn't want to direct the prequels. He wanted someone else to do it, but nobody wanted to touch Star Wars with a 10-foot pole. So he was forced to do it himself.
Hmm.
And if it was up to him, somebody else would have directed it, and he would just
Yeah.
wrote and like supervised.
Hmm.
Because I think he also
Which, like,
recognizes that he's more of an ideas guy than he is a director.
yes, right. And that's how I kind of feel about Zack Snyder. Like when I think about Man of Steel, like when I think about 300, like when I think about a lot of the films that he's done, the thing that I've enjoyed the most about his films that he's written or directed or worked on in that capacity is the visuals. Like he's a great visual director. A lot of people have a lot of different thoughts on Sucker Punch, but Sucker Punch looks cool.
Yeah.
Like he's has a lot of cool visual ideas, even with the Watchmen film. Like even though Moore hates every adaptation of everything ever,
Except for
like I feel
one.
like Watchmen. Wait, what's up?
I say except for one episode of Justice League Unlimited.
Hmm. Yeah, like he, like I feel like Snyder is great at having cool visual concepts, and just has some of the shots in Man of Steel are beautiful. Like it's some very great just shot composition and visual ideas, and I feel like George Lucas kind of fits in that same cloth, where it's like visually there's so much just narrative rich stuff, but dialogue is not their strong suits. Like like Red Letter Media, like one of them made the argument that like the best Star Wars films are the ones that he didn't direct, or the ones that he the like Empire Strikes Back. People unanimously agree for the most part that that's the best Star Wars movie, or at least the best film of the original trilogy. And
I'm more
George
of a
Lucas was
Return
in
of the
more of a
Jedi guy
production role,
myself.
right? Like a lot of them, like he's a very great, just like broad strokes guy, and I feel like Zack Snyder is a great broad strokes guy too, and is just very good at conveying visual ideas. So, yeah, in regards to the modern era, I feel like Zack Snyder kind of fits that archetype of just like a very great visual director, but dialogue is just not their thing, which is okay. I don't think dialogue should be everybody's thing. Like I like the Bad Boys movies. Like dialogue shouldn't be everybody's thing, but yeah, in regards to that, like comparison, that's what I mean for the most part. Not like, of course, George Lucas made Star Wars, but yeah, I do think that they're both visual directors who are great at telling stories in broad strokes, but when it gets into the nitty gritty, their films kind of fall apart to an extent. Um, like even in Episode 6, visually that film is cool, and there's a lot of great broad strokes in that film. Some of the dialogue, it depends, but yeah,
You know,
that's
that's my
that's
favorite Star
my
Wars movie you're talking
that's
about.
no, and I 6 is cool. 6 is very very cool. That film is hard, and it's just so much cool visual concepts and ideas. But yeah, that's my TED talk on how Zack Snyder is kind of our George Lucas to an extent.
Yeah, that's very understandable. I think it's why he works so well in animation because, like you said, he's a good visuals guy.
Right, and I think that Zack Snyder doing a 2D God of War series would be cool. Um, because of everything you're saying, like he did Owls of Gahul. Like he's very good at visual, like animated stuff, and I think he should get into that bag more. Um, again, like Sucker Punch. Again, Sucker Punch could work as a animated 2D film.
Yeah,
Like a lot of that stuff could work in that regard. So yeah.
yeah.
Um,
So,
in regards to the series, yeah,
oh yeah,
sorry.
go ahead.
With the series, I'm interested in seeing what it will be. Um, I, I'm not ready for the discourse in this show, and it's like they're gonna make Kratos soft. Like I'm not ready for that. But
I mean, for a lot of people,
I'm
it'll be
interested.
their only experience with Kratos, so they won't know what he was like before to even know if he was soft. Of course, there will be the people who've never played a God of War game in their life, pretending like they have and that they know what they're talking about. Like always with everything,
Right.
people who know nothing like
Always.
to pretend like they
Yeah.
know what they're talking about for the sake of being a bigot.
Exactly. And I'm interested in the casting and how they're gonna
Yeah.
go that route. Uh, Especially because Kratos was voiced by two black men. So
T.C.
it's like,
Carson, now
what
Christopher
route are they gonna
Judge.
go with?
Which, like, again, also,
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess, if you do live action and then you do animation, you would probably bring the whoever plays him in live action to voice him in that animated adaptation if it's directly connected. But in my mind, I'm like, just bring back TC Carson. I
That
want
would be cool.
I want another God of War thing with TC Carson so bad. I need them to remake the first God of War game just so they can bring back TC Carson. And if they were to remake
And I feel like they
the
tease it.
first God of War game and have Christopher Judge voice Kratos, I would riot. I would burn
Yeah.
Sony Santa Monica down. If you remake God of War, you bring back TC Carson.
Understandably, yeah. They, yeah. I would join you. And I feel like they're teasing something like that because they just did that press conference and TC Carson was there, like talking with them. So it's like, it seems like the relationship is positive there. They could do that.
Yeah.
And also, it's old. Like, I feel like the old trilogy needs a refresh.
But yeah, moving on to the Spider-Man Brand New Day suit reveal. So they revealed Spider-Man suit officially on the Marvel, social channels and YouTube, and everywhere they could, and it looks good. When I initially saw it, I was like, oh yeah, it looks good, but it's not my favorite. But after seeing it more and seeing a bunch of behind the scenes photo, I'm like, okay, this might be the best live action Spider-Man suit. It's really good. The only thing holding it back for me is the spider on the back specifically. Something that the first suit that Tom Holland's Spider-Man wore did that no other Spider-Man suit in live action before him did was that the back spider was different from the front spider. And it looked like how it does in the comics, and especially in original comics, where it's this fat circular spider with these like rectangular legs. And I prefer that look for the back spider versus the back spider just looking exactly like the front spider. But other than that, it's a great looking suit. What did you think of it?
I think it looks good too. Um, I like the colors. I like that it's very traditional to an extent, even down to the webbing on the suit. Like, it's a very traditional Spider-Man suit. My favorite suit for the longest time was the Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit. And I feel like they did a good job of capturing just classic Spider-Man. It doesn't fit within the normal MCU design language of like we are making everyone in the military. It doesn't do that. And it's just a very traditional vigilante Spider-Man suit. So I really do like that aspect of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like the coloring of it. Like, it's just a nicely colored suit, and the red and the blue really pops. Yeah, I mess with it. Even the way that the web shooters seem to look, I think it looks cool.
Yeah, I like when the web shooters are visible and that they're big and silver. I wish they wrapped around his entire wrist,
Yeah.
but you know, as long as they're visible and silver, I like it.
That would be right. Yeah.
But yeah, there was also some like behind the scene, not even behind the scene, but just people taking videos of them filming, and they are doing practical swinging off of cranes that are driving down the street, and it looks awesome. And I'm really excited to see if they actually use those shots and don't just replace them with CGI. But the movie is being directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, who directed Shang-Chi. So I expect some good action.
Oh, okay.
It's also rumored that Punisher and the Hulk will appear in this movie. But this movie is also supposedly going to be more grounded and street level, and I really hope that is true and is the case. And I'm curious if it'll cross over with Daredevil in any way. with the a lot of stuff that happened with the Kingpin in the first season of Daredevil Born Again. So yeah, I'm very curious to see how they're gonna handle all of that. But something that I really hope they do is make Zendaya's Michelle Jones into the actual Mary Jane Watson. Because otherwise, she would be one of the most wasted castings in all of comic book movie history.
Yeah.
Because in real life, Zendaya is basically Mary Jane. She's an actress and a model, just like Mary Jane is in the comics. And I really hope that
Yeah.
they just turn her into Mary Jane straight up. My hope is that, like, at some point, because they're in college currently, the characters, that she just decides to pursue acting and maybe not, fully drop science and, still, study that as a backup plan, but she decides to start pursuing acting and takes up the stage name Mary Jane Watson, and that's how we get Zendaya's Mary Jane now. And she dyes her hair red or wears a red wig or something. Like, make her Mary Jane. There's no reason not to. She's so perfect as, like, for Mary Jane. They have her playing this completely different character. It was such an odd decision on their part. And I
Yeah.
hope that they recognize that, because I feel like it's also a case of, I think when she first started playing Michelle or MJ, they call her in movies. When she first started playing MJ,
Mhm.
I don't think she necessarily had that perception that she does now, as this very, like, considered like one of the most beautiful women on the face of the planet Earth, and she's just actress and model that everybody loves. But now that she has that perception, I hope that they
Right.
recognize, oh, we should have her actually be Mary Jane now, not off-brand MJ.
That could be that could be interesting, and I feel like that would be a cool way of like evolving the character and conveying a passage of time as well. Cause yeah, I mean Zendaya is a very versatile performer, and they just kind of reduce her to like, I feel like No Way Home they characterized her like, and over the past few films they characterized her a bit better, but she was just kind of like the kind of like shy counterculture character,
Yeah,
and it's, at sometimes it would ring a bit shallow. Um, so I feel like yeah, it'd be cool if they like really fleshed out MJ and made her to an extent what she was like in the comics to an extent, and breathe some new life into it. That would be pretty cool. And yeah, in regards to everything you're saying about the story being grounded, that's what I hope for. Because I just want it to be a New York film.
yeah,
Like I want it to be a New York movie. It takes place in New York, takes place on a block, like it takes place on the block, and it's just about kind of like heroes for hire type vibe. Like that's what I would want it to be. Just a grounded New York story.
yeah,
Um, because I feel like those are the best Spider-Man stories, regardless of the author, who's like for everyone, whether it's Bendis, Straczynski, or anyone. Like a lot of the best Spider-Man stories are the grounded street level ones. So I really would like it to be like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Also, a really interesting idea that I heard somebody come up with is that, um, I, what if we don't get like Mary Jane in this movie until the very end, and instead, she like maybe landed some big acting gig, and now her face is like plastered on billboards everywhere. She's like on social ads, and she's in Times Square, and everywhere Peter looks, her face is right there. And he just can't escape her, even though she can't remember him anymore. I just think that would be very interesting, just torturing him like that. Because this man,
Yeah.
people make fun of it, but it's like, yeah, man, I want Peter to suffer. That's when he's at his best. And then from there, he can build up to have a good life. But first, I need him to suffer. He's got to suffer first.
that, that every Spider-Man writer is just like, how can we make Peter? How can we just really just make his life the worst?
Yeah,
Um, and I feel like often those are the Spider-Man stories that people loved. Um, People hated One More Day. Like people hated One More Day so much because it's just, I mean, there's a lot of reasons why people hate that comic, but it's like y'all just retconned everything and made everything hunky dory and sunshines and everything. It's like make this man go through something. Um, so yeah, I'm interested in seeing how Peter's gonna grow and see just the narrative beats he's gonna face because he's older.
Yeah.
Um, I'm interested in seeing college era Peter.
That's the best era. I'm tired of the infantilization of Spider-Man. Like Peter, his best stories, all the stories that are adapted, come from his teen or his high, or I'm saying all the wrong things. His college years. Um, the the cartoon from the '90s, Peter's in college. Like all of his best stories come from college and beyond. He was only in high school for two real life years in the comics. For like 2 years in the '60s he was in high school, and then he was in college, and that's where we got all the best stories. That's where he met Norman Osborn, or Harry Osborn. That's where he met Gwen Stacy. That's where a lot of like his most iconic stories come from. So let this man be in school. But moving from Marvel to DC, we got a trailer for Peacemaker season 2. And I'm curious, did you watch season 1?
I didn't watch season one.
You should. It's really good. It
I
was
did.
surprisingly great. I trust James Gunn, but initially when I saw like they were making a Peacemaker show, I was like, what? I think everybody was like, what? Why? um,
Is-
I
Yeah,
wanted a Bloodsport spinoff after watching the Suicide Squad more than Peacemaker. So I was very perplexed. But it turned out to be great. And John Cena is incredible as Peacemaker. He's not afraid to play a goofy guy, unlike some wrestlers turned actors. But you know,
I wonder who you're talking about. Yeah.
yeah. It's also a James Gunn joint, so it's just as heartfelt and as it is funny. And
Hmm.
in season 2, it seems like they'll be turning a bit of a glossed over detail from the first season into a major part of the plot, and that's the fact that Peacemaker's father has an interdimensional closet in his house where he like stores all his weapons,
What?
and Peacemaker is using that closet to travel to another universe where he's loved and respected as a hero. And like supposedly he beats up that version of himself and like takes his life. And that may be how they explain how he enters the new DCEU. Because as you saw, he showed
Hmm.
up in a little clip in Superman. So
He did.
we know he exists. And also in the first trailer for Peacemaker, we saw Hawkgirl, Green Lantern, and Maxwell Lord, played by James Gunn's
Right.
brother, which I don't know if he. I don't know how I feel about that casting. We'll have to see. But
Right.
yeah, the Peacemaker season 2 looks like it'll be fun. You should definitely check out season 1. It's great. Next we have the first trailer for Avatar: Fire and Ash. Lo and behold, I'm sitting in the theaters to watch Fantastic Four, and then this trailer starts playing, and I was confused. I was like, "What's happening?" and yeah, that the trailer, like, this is what they just they debuted the trailer in theaters before Fantastic Four. It was the last trailer before the movie started, and I personally have been a fan
Hmm.
of James Cameron's Avatar my whole life. When did that first movie come out? 2008, 2009. Uh,
Yeah.
um, and The Way of Water blew the first movie out of the water, pun completely intended, and it was incredible. Especially to watch it in theaters with my dad and my brothers. It's just a visual spectacle. Um, and the second movie especially had a much tighter story in comparison to the first. Um, but I have always been an aspect of story I've always been a fan of is the environmentalist aspect, and I do appreciate there just being a $1 billion movie that is about environmentalism, and the fact that James Cameron
Hmm.
is very passionate about that, and he actually, from my understanding, had to actually fight to have that story be told, and that like some higher ups were like against that. The weakest part of that first movie, in terms of the story, is definitely the white savior aspect of it. That's really weird, but they toned that down a lot in the second one,
Right.
and hopefully even more in the third
Hmm.
one, because it's not non-existent in the second one, but it's definitely not as uh, overt. And hopefully, as we get build up towards a fifth movie, which, as much as I like these movies, I don't know if we needed 5 of these movies. I think a trilogy would have been fine, James. But he plans on making five. Um, and yeah, what are your thoughts on the Avatar franchise as it is now? Or I guess it has been because that movie came out 2008 or nine.
Right. Yeah.
It's crazy to think how old
Um,
those movies are. Those movies have been around for almost 20 years.
yeah, it's crazy. And I mean, just crazy to think about how long it took for Way of Water to even come out. Um, I'm like vaguely familiar with the first one. It's kind of one of those films that was always kind of in the background for me. Um, I mean, of course, visually, it's just like it's a breakthrough. It's a breakthrough film visually. A lot of James Cameron films are, and I feel like Avatar kind of fits that bill. Um,
Imagine
yeah, like I
making
don't have is
the highest grossing movie of all time twice, three times.
right. Yeah. No, yeah, that I didn't even think about that. Yeah, he did it 3 times. And yeah, just James Cameron is very just good at spectacle at a big, massive level. So yeah, with first Avatar, yeah, I don't have a super deep relationship with it, but being fascinated with visual effects and just everything that Weta did in motion capture, like it really intrigued me at the time. And yeah, I followed everything Weta did ever since. And even up to like, of course, like for me in 2011 it was Tintin. Like all of the mocap work that Weta was doing was very cool. So yeah, I didn't watch Way of Water. Um, but again, visually it looked very cool. But yeah, with Avatar, like everything you're touching on with the white savior aspect and just kind of some of those self-insert or not self-inserts, but just that aspect of like a white person entering a culture and just kind of integrating themselves and saving the day at the end. It's that can be a tinge tired and problematic, and it is all of those
Yeah,
things. But
100%.
um, so yeah, like yeah, with the first Avatar, like we had it on DVD in the house and stuff, and like I like kind of attempt to watch it at the time, but my young 8-year-old brain was like, visually this looks cool, but it's a lot of political talk happening. So yeah, like the fact that I mean the franchise went away and it came back and it's getting a sequel that fast, I'm intrigued by it.
Yeah. And
So yeah.
yeah, in the trailer itself, we're being introduced to basically the Fire Nation and air nomads of the Navi tribe, since all of them are related to elements in some form or fashion. The ones in the first movie were very like very greenery and nature and earth based, and then second movie Way of Water, we got some water Navi, which was very fun to explore, and now we're getting these fire based and air based Navi, which is going to be fun to explore. And it seems like Scott Lang's character, who was originally working with the humans, seems like he's joining the Fire Navi, or maybe convincing them to work with the humans in some form or fashion. But yeah, I'm excited for this movie. Comes out later this year, in December. So, like, yeah, I'll definitely be watching this in theaters. Probably once, because
Mm.
it's a long ass movie. I don't know if I'm going to watch this more than one time in theaters specifically. The second one, the first one I'd seen 1,000 times because it came out when I was a kid. The second one I only saw twice because, again, long movie. Watched it in theaters and then watched it a second time at home. But yeah, to kind of wrap things up, I want to talk about Fantastic Four First Steps. I gave my very very brief thoughts on it last episode, but to kind of just sum that up, I liked it a lot. For me, it's one of the best MCU movies made in years. It feels like I struggle to say a return to form, but it feels like
Mhm.
what Marvel movies should be. So I guess in that way, it is a return to form in my eyes. It's just what I want Marvel movies to be all the time. I want them to be this solid, this good. And part of what makes this movie so solid and so good is that it takes place in an isolated universe. It
Mm.
it And it's not trying to set anything up either. It's not like this movie is trying to be like, okay, it has to set up Secret Wars. There's of course like like a single mid credit scene that does do that, but that mid credit scene doesn't feel like it was like a thing that they were trying to build up to the entire time. No, the movie was just focused on the Fantastic Four versus Galactus, and it was awesome. And I this is what I wish that the entire multiverse saga was, and what I think it should have been. It should have been full of movies set in isolated universes like this, and the multiverse was always the perfect excuse for Marvel to tell very siloed stories without the baggage of the main universe. And instead, they decided to keep doing the same
Right.
thing over and over again, and like trying to interject the multiverse into those movies rather than doing what I just said. Um, but because this movie takes place in its own universe, the stakes feel real. Like
Hmm.
you don't know what's gonna happen, and I'm not gonna tell you what's gonna happen. But
Right.
I know I was surprised. And like, yeah, it was a good movie. It was a great
Okay.
movie, and you know, it'll definitely exciting to hear you talk about whenever you get around to seeing it. But yeah, are there any questions you have
Okay.
regarding the film?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Um, I feel like often, especially with what you're saying with stakes, knowing, I feel like the phase schedule, it kind of backfires. Like, I feel like it kind of leaves too much of a window open for the audience to see what's being cooked behind the scenes. And it's like we know a Spider-Man series is coming out, or like a Spider-Man movie is coming out like next year. Spider-Man disintegrating and Infinity War just didn't hit as much. It was still a great scene and it was a great narrative beat, but at the end of the day, because we know so much about what's going on behind the curtain, it's hard to feel any sort of real like narrative weight because we knew that he's coming back. They're not just gonna let Tom Holland go. They were like no way, or not no way home, but blanking up Far From Home.
Yeah.
Far From Home was coming out regardless that year. So yeah, I feel like phasing things and like being very transparent in regards to movies, like we're executives, it just kind of ruins the relationship to the art to an extent. Um, so yeah, the fact that the film had stakes and it's the fact that it's self-contained is cool. So yeah, just kind of wanted to ask what with them putting the Fantastic Four in Secret Wars, do you think that that would step on what they tried to do with this film, or do you think that it would enhance it in any way?
So, knowing what I know about the Secret Wars comics, even though I haven't gotten around to reading them myself, that I guess spoiler alert for those comics. For those of you who don't read it, and but I guess potential spoiler for the movies. I don't know a lot of specifics, so I'm not like saying any specific spoilers. But I guess this is kind of the biggest spoiler for that comic. So if you're watching this and you care about that comic, or if you're watching this and maybe this fact may spoil the movie for you, maybe don't watch this. But and if you don't care, or if you already know about what happens in the Secret Wars comic, before I say what I'm about to say, do you mind?
I do not mind.
Yeah. So like at the end of that comic, it's you know a soft reboot kind of. And they bring in that comic is how they bring Miles Morales from the Ultimate Universe into the main universe.
Mhm.
So I imagine they're going to do something like that here. And then use Secret Wars, and I think Doomsday is the first movie, and the Secret Wars is the second one. They're going to use those movies to bring the Fantastic Four universe into the main universe somehow, some way. And this is going to be a bit of a soft reboot
Mm.
where they can kind of like reset and restart and do things a little bit new, a little bit different. Which is funny because I think the like what they called the comics that came out after Secret Wars were all new, all different. So um, I wouldn't be surprised if they literally use that exact same language after Secret Wars.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited um, for the universe after like post Secret Wars. I can't say I'm particularly excited for either Doomsday or Secret Wars. I can't say I'm not excited because of course I am, because the last two Avengers big crossover movies we had were awesome, and I'm hoping this is the same, even though we don't have the same build up to it because the movies have been lackluster over the years. But I still,
Right.
want to hope that they still manage to cobble together something that's very entertaining at the very least. Um, and that the kind of like creative potential afterwards is great. And that what they do with these two movies results in something awesome afterwards. And I feel like they're setting the Fantastic Four up to be kind of what Iron Man was to the what is it, the first saga of the MCU, the Infinity Saga, where they're kind of they might be like the linchpins, like main heroes that kind of like lead a lot of the major events, which I think could be really fun to have a group of characters that uh, Disney and Marvel very purposefully tanked in popularity because they wanted to buy the rights back from Fox and wanted the value to go down, and then ultimately just end up buying Fox as a whole, which is insane. They did the same thing. They did it for both Fantastic Four and X-Men. So
Yeah.
the Fantastic Four used to be like one of the four pillars of the Marvel Cinematic or Marvel Universe period, alongside Spider-Man, the Hulk, and the X-Men. But they hadn't been seen as that for in a very long time, and now it's kind of return to form. It's actually kind of insane when you realize just we're starting to relearn how popular Fantastic Four used to be with this movie, and how much people enjoy this movie, and how much
Which
people
is
were excited for this movie.
interesting how things cycle
Same thing with Superman.
because yeah, like and when we were younger, films that were like really getting made the most, like in that redacted director's name, for the Fox stuff, like the X-Men films were being made, and then you got the Tim Story Fantastic Four films, and then Spider-Man was being made, and then you have films like every now and then like Ang Lee's Hawk. Like you had a lot of those films being made for those characters and pillar characters, and then yeah, Marvel Studios or Buena Vista at the time, they were just like, we are going to cobble up whatever we have, whatever characters we have access to. We are going to try to make something cool, and then we got Iron Man, and like Iron Man, like don't want to like do revisionist history or anything like that, but Iron Man was just never a Spider-Man level character in
Yeah,
regards to
he wasn't.
popularity.
He
Like
really wasn't.
he just wasn't.
And
He just
neither
wasn't that big of a
and
character.
neither were the Avengers. It's insane that we live in a
Yeah,
world where the Avengers have become more popular than the Justice League. That is insane to me, and it honestly makes me upset. Like the Avengers deserve to have become popular, but I don't like that they're more popular than the Justice League right now. And I think that's going to change when we
yeah,
get a Justice League movie, because I think that honestly, I don't think it can be denied, and really, it's kind of not fair because a lot of these characters existed, have an additional 20 years history, you know, above a lot of Marvel characters, because a lot of the most famous Marvel characters,
right,
other than Captain America, came from the 60s, whereas a lot of the most famous
right,
DC characters came from the late 30s and the 40s. So they got 20 years on them,
right.
but because of that, they're more iconic. Aquaman's more iconic than
Right.
Iron Man, like in reality, like for a long time at least.
Oh no, for sure.
Now that's not
That's
necessarily true anymore, but I think it could be true again. With the right power. It's it's insane to say, but yeah, Aquaman was more iconic than Iron Man for a very long time. And
it's true.
I think even today
Like people cared. Yeah,
it's not even crazy to say, even though it's almost been 20 years since that first Iron Man movie. It's not crazy to say that
crazy.
characters like Green Lantern and Flash are overall more iconic than someone like Iron Man, who has now become a very much household name. And the moment we get some good stories with
Right.
these characters, which hopefully that Green Lantern show is good, um and very comic book accurate in a lot of ways, we're gonna start seeing that happen again. See these DC characters make a comeback, but that's also what's happening with the Fantastic Four. These iconic characters are starting
Mhm.
to be made iconic again. Like they
Right.
also used to be way more popular than Iron Man.
way more. Yeah, like they had. I mean, they were trying to get Fantastic Four movies off the ground since the '80s. Like they were popular characters. Um, yeah, like they were just a popular. They were a popular team, and now it's funny that like a lot of the characters that people would consider Marvel B and C list were more popular than one of the pillar characters of the entire like comic, just like entire in the entire bibliography of Marvel. The fact that they kind of faded out of existence, kind of it's interesting how things have just ebbed and flowed over time in regards to certain characters. Because yeah,
Yeah, even before
the
the
fact that
X-Men, like the Fantastic Four,
yeah,
they used to be Marvel's premier team over the X-Men, over the Avengers.
mhm,
Like the X-Men didn't start to become popular until the 80s with giant-sized X-Men, or the 70s, I should say. But, for like a decade before that, Fantastic Four were pretty popular.
and now it's like we're trying to get the iconic characters uh, back to the same level of Iron Man, Thor, and Black Widow and Hawkeye. It's just a very interesting timeline. Very interesting timeline for superhero films. Um, so yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's
Hawkeye
cool that
being more
the
popular
Fantastic
than Green Arrow. Crazy work.
crazy.
But also I feel like he hasn't even been 100% done like the most justice Hawkeye. And I think it's not gonna like I
He
love
hasn't.
Hawkeye and I think he deserves way more respect. And just better movies and shows in general. But uh one Green Arrow movie is gonna blow that Hawkeye show out the water. Moving on to video games. So what have you been playing lately?
So this I have had time for because video games, you can pick them up, put them down, whatever. I've been kind of slowly getting back into Lives of P by myself, and thinking about like tossing around the idea of starting my own file, because I've just been thinking about it a lot. It's a really good game, and Bloodborne is too hard for me, so. Lies of P is kind of like on my docket. It's on my radar. I might start my own file, and I also might get it on our PS4 so that we can, play it a lot easier. Because right now I have it on PC, and it's nice, but it kind of runs like trash, and a little sad, But
Lies
yeah,
of P is on
Lies of
PS4?
P, yeah,
Oh, I didn't know this.
I know. At least I think it is. I remember seeing it in the store. The
I mean, I wouldn't be so like completely surprised, but
yeah, it's on PS4.
but yeah, I had removed it from the notes because I just didn't feel like talking about it, or I also didn't feel like cleaning up the notes for it. But there was like some previews for an upcoming action game called. Damn, I can't remember what it's called. I'll edit in what it's called, but
Okay.
it's the hold on, I have to look it up because why am I forgetting what this game's called?
Okay.
Phantom Blade Zero. That's the game.
Oh.
Which is the developers say that it has Souls like level design, but the combat is inspired
Mm.
by um Devil May Cry and Ninja Gaiden, or not Ninja Gaiden, Metal Gear Rising Revengeance.
Oh. Mhm.
Which sounds like
It's
the
right
the
up my
best of both
alley.
worlds, the best of both
Right.
worlds. And that conversation was going to lead to me saying that um the only other Souls games other than Elden Ring that I am actually interested in, and I think I might end up liking, are Lies of P, Bloodborne, and Sekiro. So I
Mm-hmm.
might get around to those eventually. Trying
I
them
think
out
you
at least,
should.
especially Bloodborne, because Bloodborne is on PS Plus, so I can check it out that way.
Yeah. I really love Bloodborne. I am just not good at Souls likes, and that is the only like barrier to entry for me. It's like I am stuck on the cleric beast. My friend had to come over and like show me how to beat it, and I still haven't done it anyway. So we might be stuck forever. We'll see. But beyond Lies of P and Bloodborne, Patapon 1+2 replay released. I want to say like a couple weeks ago, and I finally got it, and I've been playing it, and it is so much better than the PlayStation remasters that they did, like the ones on PS Plus.
Hmm.
And I don't know how or why it's better, but it just is. Like, you would think that like they would just kind of,
I mean, these are actual
I
remakes,
guess,
right?
yeah, they're not really. Um, it's complicated because it's like they have a couple elements of like what a remake would have. So like a difficulty slider, the graphics are updated, especially because I have the Nintendo Switch edition, so they have to change all the buttons and what those look like. So I assume like everything's like redrawn. But the difficulty slider 1 and 2 are bundled, and so I guess there's a little change in that way. The saving works a little different, and your save files are actually named, which is really helpful. But other than that, it still plays exactly the same as the remaster on PlayStation, and to an extent, the original on PSP. And so like it feels familiar, but it's just slightly different in enough ways that I'm not sure how to classify it.
Oh,
if
there's
that
just
makes sense.
a bunch of like quality of life changes. I mean, this
Yeah.
version of the game is also available everywhere else.
Yep, PC, Switch, Xbox, I think. Yeah, but it's really good. It's a really good. Like I'm enjoying it a lot more now that I can actually play the game and play through it and not like fight for my life the whole time during this really really fun, really really like quirky rhythm game. And it makes me excited to play 2 and 3 because I'm going through 1 right now. I got stuck on the PlayStation version of 1 in this one level. It's really hard. It's like infamously hard, but I'm already approaching that level now, and I've only been playing this edition of the remake like for 2 days. So the difficulty sliders work exactly as I was hoping that they would.
That's
and
good.
Great.
That's good.
Yeah. It lowers the barrier to entry a lot, and I really appreciate that. What else? There was another game. Oh, I found on the eShop. I was looking through the Nintendo eShop just for the kicks and giggles, to see if there was anything new to play, and I found this game called I can't remember what it is off the top of my head completely, but it's like The Aquarium Does Not Exist, and it's like an RPG Maker game. And I haven't played a good RPG Maker horror in a really, really long time. So I bought it on a whim, which I never do for video games. Like I had to do a whole bunch of extensive research first, but I was like, this looks like something I would like. And so I bought it. And I haven't played much of it, but I really, really like it so far.
Cool. I'm always playing Marvel Rivals. Always find some time for that. Trying to get back up to Gold 1, which tends to be my barrier. I get to Gold 1. It's hard to get to Platinum 3, but I'm gonna get there eventually. But seasons are shorter too, so it's like I gotta really grind if I want to try to get to Platinum 3. But like I never thought I'd be into playing ranked in this game, but then I started and I can't stop. It's fun. I love the challenge. But yeah, I feel like towards the end of a season is when I get kind of sweaty, and I'm like, okay, I'm at this rank, and I need you guys to not be ass because the season's almost over, and I'm not trying to get deranked before the season's over.
Like I need you to lock in.
But yeah, but towards we're in the middle of the season, new season's about to start. I'll talk more about that later, or not new seasons, the second half of the season's about to start. So I'm like, okay, I'm in a comfortable spot where I can just play and rank up and not take it too serious yet. Still playing Dunk Combinats. Real fun. Good game. Great game. One of these days I'll have to bring it in so you can check it out. It's real fun.
Yeah.
But I also got a Ninja Gaiden Ragebound on Switch because that came out a few weeks ago. You'll hear people tell you not to get it on Switch because it's only 30 frames per second. Guess what? I don't notice frame rates. I don't notice frame rates if it's 30. If it's 30, I'm fine. I'm good.
Right.
If it's below 30, I'll notice. But if it's over 30,
yeah, it's like hold on.
I don't tend to know. Like maybe if I was playing Marvel Rivals and it was like 30 frames per second, I'd probably be upset. But like, I also play like I'm a single player dude, so I'm not worried about frames. I'm worried about how pretty the game looks most of the time. As long as it's not abysmal.
Exactly.
As long as it's not like stuttery damn near, like I'm fine. 30 frames is good enough for me as long as it looks good. And this is also a game that is pixel art. I don't care. 30 frames per second is fine.
Right. That's one of the things that really pisses me off about the frames per second crowd, where it's like they'll be like, this game is only this many frames per second, and it's like my brother
and it's
my brother in
Patapon.
Christ, the game is pixels. It's exactly. Although I will say the Patapon 1+2 does run at a higher frame rate. I can tell. I usually I can't. I can tell it's like a lot smoother, and it kind of threw me off when I first saw it, and I was like, why I look like that? But the game I think of in particular is Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door. When the remake for that came out, people were like, it's not 60 FPS, and
It's
I'm
a
like,
turn-based
the original
RPG.
1000. What do you need all those frames for?
What do you need an extra 30 frames for a turn-based RPG for? It's not like you have to have quick reaction time. Well, you do technically,
Right.
but you
Well,
don't
in
need.
Paper
Yeah, I was saying Paper Mario,
Right.
you do, but you don't need to like. It's not that serious for Paper Mario in the Thousand Year
Right.
Door.
And then like, I don't think the original was 60 frames per
I
second
mean,
either.
I
So
don't like. I don't like. I mean, I get people wanting to be better than the original, but like, I just
Mhm.
60 has become the default for a lot of people, and I get that. But like,
Yeah,
it's not that serious. For some games, it's not that
it really
serious.
is.
But yeah, moving on to gaming news, The Outer Worlds has lowered their price from $80 to $70. This is coming from
Wow.
Windows Central and Wario64 on Twitter. They said, "We are focusing on bringing players incredible worlds to explore, and will keep our full-priced holiday releases, including The Outer Worlds 2 at $69.99, in line with current market conditions. Bullying corporations works, and we should keep doing it.
We should.
Like we did with Sonic."
Mhm.
Yeah, and it looks like Xbox is completely walking back the entire $80 games campaign. Thank God, because like that was stupid.
Good. It was very stupid.
Nobody can afford that. Okay, we can barely
Right.
afford 70. It should be 65 max. If I'm being real,
Yeah.
like I'll give you that extra $5, but 70 is outrageous. Okay, plus tax. When I bought goddamn Donkey Kong plus tax, it was like damn near $80. It was like 79 something and some change.
Right.
I was like,
Donkey Kong
I
game.
saw that and I was like, oh,
Ridiculous.
I was like, Jesus Christ, why is this game so expensive?
Yeah, it's like it makes me not want to play video games anymore. I'm like, it's an expensive hobby. And it
Yeah.
didn't used to be.
It's wild. And it's crazy because Clear Obscure was like $40,
Right.
and that game
It's like
feels like it should be 60 at least.
it's like it always feels like games that are really, really good are like undersell themselves so much, and games that are not that good are always like way overpriced. It's insane.
I feel like if you're releasing the same game every year, it shouldn't be full price.
I'm saying.
We're talking about you, Call of Duty. But anyway,
Yep.
so WB Games Montreal is making a AAA live service game based on an iconic DC property. This is coming from Shahir Razid at Tech for Gamer. Tech for Gamers has come across a new job listing for an executive producer that reveals key details about the project, including the fact that it is based on a DC Comics IP and utilizes a live service model. Now, the chances are this is probably going to be a DC hero shooter in the vein of Marvel Rivals.
Right.
And under normal conditions, well, there is really no normal conditions for this. Under other conditions, this would be exciting.
Right.
But it's being made by WB Montreal. And it's not because WB Montreal are bad devs or I don't like them or something. It's because they are a single player action game studio who actively wants to make single player action games and keeps getting their pitches for single player action games set in the DC universe shot down. Instead, they were forced to make Gotham Knights. DC and WB's first attempt at a multiplayer game that failed horrifically. And their, second attempt with another single player action developer, Rocksteady, who made the Batman Arkham games, with a Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League, also failed. So like a DC horror shooter is not a bad idea. Everybody wants that, especially after Marvel Rivals. But get literally anybody else to make it. Literally
Right.
anybody else.
Anybody else.
Marvel got a studio known for making live service games to make Rivals, not a studio that already failed to make a multiplayer game. Also, I keep saying it, but WB is really dropping the ball with their IPs, and it sucks.
Yeah.
Especially as a person who loves DC. And I just want anything. I keep saying they should make smaller and cheaper games with quicker turnaround times to hold us over, us starving fans while we wait for the big AAA games. Because I don't need
Right.
all my superhero games to be Spider-Man or Arkham. I want some. I will
Exactly.
take something smaller. especially if it's about a character that would never get a game. um,
Right.
but like I said, I do want a DC hero shooter in the vein of Rivals. And I
Mhm.
even have a pitch for how they could make it stand out from Rivals in Overwatch. And years ago on the podcast, I
Mhm.
tried to start a segment called Choose Your Character, where we create rosters for fighting games. And we only did one episode, and that episode was for Injustice 3. So maybe it's time to bring
Mhm.
it back with this DC game. And maybe also do one for Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. Which, speaking of which,
Mhm.
Evo is happening right now as we speak.
Oh,
The
wow.
biggest fighting game tournament in the world. And a bunch of people have been able to get their hands on Tokon Fighting Souls. And Arc System Works released a beginner's guide video breaking down how the game is played on YouTube. And it seems to be a combination of every fighting game Arc System Works has ever made, according to Maximilian Dude on YouTube.
Mhm.
And it incorporates Smash Bros like controls as an option at the very least. Which a lot of modern fighting games do. Street Fighter 6 has done it as well to make it more accessible for new players, and to just make it easy for them to hop in and just press buttons and be able to have fun with any character. It has auto combos, and like in Smash Bros, you can do direction based attacks.
Mhm.
And
That's nice.
yeah, it's nice to see them trying to be like fighting games are so niche. You have to try really hard to like make it easy for people to just hop in and play for a little bit. Um,
Mhm.
I'm not the most knowledgeable about fighting games to like get into the weeds, but it looks cool. And hopefully this does what Rivals did with hero shooters for me, which is,
Mhm.
gives me a fighting game to consistently play. Like I have Rivals as my hero shooter to consistently play.
Right.
And the art style for this just looks awesome. And taking all these
Yeah.
characters and animifying them, turning Iron Man into a goddamn Gundam.
Yeah.
Which, like Marvel, what are you doing? Like they refuse to make like any like cartoons really. They make a couple.
Right.
They had what if they just did the Black Panther joint, but they should be doing way more. And they got that Spider-Man one. And why haven't
Right.
you made just an Iron Man mech anime? Just do it. People would like that. I want that. Give it to me.
The demand is there. Right.
But yeah, speaking of Rivals, we got a trailer for Blade, and a roadmap for season 3.5. But we're gonna focus on Blade. I sent you the trailer. And
You did.
Blade looks like a character straight out of a character action game, specifically Devil May Cry. And he has several direct references to Virgil from Devil May Cry. His ultimate is very similar to a move called Judgment Cut from Devil May Cry, where Virgil dashes forward and does the anime thing of drawing his sword so fast that we only see him holster it, and then a trail of cuts are left behind him. That is Blade's ultimate.
Right.
And then the theme song that we hear in that initial season 3 trailer, that was heavily inspired by the club music from the beginning of the first Blade movie. It plays every time he does his ultimate. Also, he even says "bury the light" at the end of the ultimate, which is a direct reference to Devil May Cry. It is the name of Virgil's theme in Devil May Cry 5. It's a great song, by the way.
Insane.
And the vocalist for that song actually sings on one of my favorite songs in Clay Obscure Exposition 33.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Blade also has a shotgun that does an insane amount of damage at mid-range, but not nearly as much at close range or far range. So he has a dash attack that he could dash with his sword, and continue attacking with his sword. Or if he dashes with his shotgun, he'll push you into that mid-range so that he could do more damage. But his sword is like the main damage dealer. He has an ability that sends him into a sword-only mode. And as he does damage, a gauge increases to a maximum of 10. And then it increases his attack speed, allowing him to do an insane amount of damage as a result. And lastly, he has a block where he can block with his sword, and it reduces incoming damage from the front by 75%. But it has a little gauge on it that has to recharge after it runs out. And he releases next Friday, August 8th. So I'm excited. I'm going to be playing Blade. I'm going to be out here killing all the healers. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a good time. But yeah, last but certainly not least, there was a Nintendo Direct partner showcase. Um,
Yes.
and we're going to talk about a few of the things that were there. If we're being real, it was alright. It wasn't that much good stuff.
Yeah.
But there are a few things to talk about. First, Persona 3 Reload is coming to Switch 2
Yeah.
on October 23rd.
Yeah.
Before Persona 5 Royal, which is weird. But I'm sure it's only a matter of time before Royal comes.
Yeah.
And
Because
Metaphor.
Royal is on Switch 1, isn't
Yeah.
it?
No, Royal? No. Only the original.
Yeah, it is.
It is it? Why did
Yeah, Royal's on Switch 1.
Really? Why they lied
I have
to me.
it.
Somebody lied to me. Someone told me it wasn't
I'm
on
like,
there.
No, it's on there. I have it.
Oh, well, I was
I've been
just
playing it.
well, that person was just wrong.
Mm,
They convinced
Very.
me that it wasn't on Switch for some reason. Because I was like, why is the Reload on Switch 2 before Royal? Why? And then you know what? If I thought about it 5 seconds longer, I would have realized that's stupid.
Right. No worries. No worries.
But it's only a matter of time before Metaphor at the very least.
Oh, for sure.
And I can only imagine they'll try to have Persona 6 and 4 revival is what they're calling it.
Mm. I think
Probably
they could
be
have gone with a much better. There's
yeah,
other better titles out
they
there.
they
but
could they could call it rerun because revival implies
It definitely could have called it
revival
rerun.
implies it's a sequel.
Right.
This
And it's
isn't a
not.
sequel, it's a remake. So rerun makes more sense because you're running it back.
Right. And also the TV thing. It's whatever, man. Just very low expectations for that game. But
I mean,
I'm
not
also
me,
like,
because I played 3 Reload and I liked it, but I also didn't play the original, so
yeah, no, it's not.
I'll enjoy it.
It's not a thing of like it being like a remake of Persona 4. It's just I have a very low opinion of Persona 4 in general.
Yeah,
So I'm like, it's bleak, but maybe they'll prove me wrong. Maybe.
this version you'll like more.
Yeah, hopefully.
Next, we have Hyrule Warriors: Age of Imprisonment. We got another trailer, but no release date. Weirdly enough. Also, well, never mind. This is a partner showcase because I was about to say where's Metroid, but this was partner showcase. But also, where's Metroid?
Yeah.
When is that game coming out? Why are they being so cagey about it? You can't even give us a window. Like they're being real weird about the release of this game. Y'all better have some big Metroid event or something because why won't you tell us? But yeah, they keep
hiding from us, Nintendo.
they keep saying that this game is canon, but they said the same thing about the last one, and it wasn't. So hopefully this one is actually canon because I actually want to see what
Right.
that story of what she was doing during, everything actually is like,
Right.
as opposed to this alternate history thing that they did with the last one, which was weird. When it could have just been, it could have just been canon.
Canon, yeah.
But we'll see. Next we have Chronos The New Dawn, which was surprising. The upcoming Dead Space inspired survival horror game from Silent Hill 2 remake devs, Bloober Team, is surprisingly coming to Switch 2 day and date on September 5th. In the last few weeks, there's been a stream of previews from an event held in the Eastern European town that the environment of the game is based on. And it sounds really good. The only bad thing I've heard is that the resource management isn't great. And apparently a lot of the journalists who went out there to play it just straight up didn't have enough resources to beat the boss. Like, not that they weren't good enough to beat the boss, they just straight up didn't have enough ammo to kill the boss, which is like something I hope that they fix and that they don't think is a feature to make it hard. I'm like, no,
Right.
there's a reason that every game ever, or especially survival horror games like Dead Space and Resident Evil, where you're about to fight a boss because they will give you a lot of ammo.
Resource, right. Or Signalis does this really creative thing where they'll hide resources in the boss arenas, but they make sense
Yeah,
to
that
be there.
a lot of games do that as well.
The first boss you fight in a medical ward, and there's med packs and strewn about ammo. It's really neat. I like when they do that rather than flooding you with resources beforehand.
Yeah,
because it adds an extra bit of strategy to me.
yeah, Metal Gear does that. I think Metal Gear does both. The first one, I think all of them do it, but especially the first one is the one that pops in my mind. Where when you're fighting bosses, usually there's resources around the arena. But yeah, this game looks awesome, and there's this mechanic where there's different enemy types, of course, but they can merge, and you have to try and stop them from merging. Otherwise, when they merge, the enemy types will fuse their abilities together So the different abilities that
That's
each
sick.
enemy type has will, when they merge, they both have both of those abilities. And I'm like, I'm low-key going to let them merge because that sounds fun. I want to fight that.
Right.
That I want to fight that enemy. But I'm sure there'll probably be like some pre-built enemies that are already like pre-merged sometimes. But yeah,
Mhm.
you know, they surprised us with the Silent Hill 2 remake, which everybody was very wary of, but then it came out and everybody loved it. Including hardcore Silent Hill fans. So I'm excited for something more original from them. Next, we have Shinobi Art of Vengeance, which had a demo as well that I played. And it is awesome. It's so good.
Nice.
Side-scrolling ninja action game fans are eating good this year. Because we're getting them in two different flavors. With Ragebound, it's much more similar to the old school style of ninja action games with very simple controls and abilities. Therefore, it focuses more on precision use of those abilities and platforming to fight your way through each
Mhm.
level. Whereas Shinobi Art of Vengeance is very much an evolution of the genre. It feels like a modern version of that, where there's way more depth to the combat, where you can unlock various different abilities and combos and special abilities. Like in Ragebound, you run, you slice, you jump, you hit an enemy while jumping, you jump higher, and that's about it. And there's a few other mechanics that I think I'm going to be introduced to in the next level that like add some
Mhm.
projectiles and switching between two characters, but nothing revolutionary for the genre. Whereas Shinobi Art of Vengeance
Right.
is trying to damn near revolutionize the genre, and they're doing a lot of really
Mhm.
different stuff that kind of really helps bring the genre forward. And that's not to necessarily say that that makes it better, because I'm actually kind of prefer the simplicity of Ninja Gaiden, but I am
Right.
still excited for the more modern and complex take on the genre from Shinobi, which is releasing real
Yeah.
soon, the end of the month, August 29th, which
Oh wow.
is that might be the same day or the day before Metal Gear Snake Eater, the Metal Gear Delta Snake Eater comes out, which is unfortunate for that game because it is not going to get played if that happens.
Looking it up.
Yep, day before. Metal Gear Solid. It
Oh,
comes out August
yikes.
28th. That's so unfortunate for you, Shinobi. You're gonna have to wait till
Rest in peace, Shinobi.
like
Yeah.
the month later. I'm probably gonna run through Metal Gear though. But like games that I like, I'm probably gonna play it twice in a row. So Shinobi gonna have to wait. Next up, we have The Adventures of Elliot, the Millennium Age. From the creators of Octopath Traveler, Bravely Default, and Triangle Strategy comes a new HD 2D RPG with real-time combat, which is what made this
Wow.
game interesting to me. In a corner of a continent overrun with beast tribes, the kingdom of Huther is humanity's sole bastion, kept safe by a magic barrier. After the discovery of hereto-after unknown ruins, the adventurer Elliot and his fairy sidekick Faye brave the dangers outside the kingdom on a journey spanning not only the continent, but its thousand-year history. Open new paths as you explore
Wow.
this untamed continent and reveal the world's mysteries or mysterious history. Enjoy intuitive and rewarding action-based battle with a healthy dose of strategic support abilities from a fairy. Herein are intertwined. Herein are intertwined the fates of one adventurer and one fairy. It is time to unravel the threads of history. And there's a demo out right now, but unfortunately, I didn't have time to play it. I was going to, because I was like, I played the Shinobi demo. Let me play this other demo. But I think I got tired. Took a nap. I took a mean nap. It was wild. I woke up. I went took a nap like 4:15. Woke up. It was 6:30. I was like, what the hell?
Oh wow.
I, that wasn't a nap. I was asleep. Um,
Sleep. Yeah.
yeah, and then I got up and like ate dinner, and then like played the game a little bit more. But yeah, that was wild. But yeah, I didn't get to check this demo out. But if I play it before next episode, I'll insert my thoughts here. But what did you think of the trailer?
I thought the trailer was really neat. I love Bravely Default. I don't know if I've talked about it on the podcast before. I probably have. I love Bravely Default. I still need to play Triangle Strategy, but to see another game come out from these devs and it's real time action, I'm like, that's exciting.
Mhm.
Most RTS games, I'm like, I'm kind of iffy on, but this one, I'm excited for. Mostly because I love Bravely Default. I'm whipped, and I'll fully come out and
Yeah,
say
you
it.
gotta you gotta
So yeah, I'm.
you gotta talk to Dan, because like I've said in like a episode not too long ago, Dan is in these types of games, and I sent this trailer to him, and I also
Mhm.
sent him the trailer for the next game we're going to talk about, Octopath Traveler 0,
Yes.
which The Adventures of Elliot will be Switch 2 exclusive, but Octopath Traveler 0 will be on both Switch 1 and Switch 2.
I'm gonna get a Switch 2 and soon.
Yeah, especially before that price goes up.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dan loves these types of games, which is wild. If you if you listening were to know Dan, you'd be surprised to hear it.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I sent him the trailers, he ended up going. He was so excited that he went and watched a whole direct.
Oh wow.
And then he saw Persona 3, and the weird thing is he doesn't like Persona, but he saw Persona 3 Reload and was like, that looks interesting, which surprised me because he does not like Persona 5. But something about Persona 3 caught his eye, and I'm curious if he'll play it. Unfortunately, it's only on Switch 2, but
yeah.
Maybe he'll play the original. I don't know. But yeah, this you got to talk to Dan about he does not like Bravely Default.
Really?
He likes Octopath. He likes Triangle Strategy. He does not like Bravely Default. To him, it is an off-brand Final Fantasy.
I mean, yeah, it kind of is, but I don't know. Something about Bravely Default is just so charming to me because it's like it feels like the first Final Fantasy to me, like what that was trying to accomplish, but on 3DS. Like, it's charming to me, and I like the art style a lot. But I get why he thinks of it that way because it's kind of true.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited to try out Adventures of Elliot because I've been meaning to want to try one of these like HD 2D games, but none of them have really interested me. But this one, with its kind of like almost Zelda style combat, has me interested. And I didn't mean to ask. I kind of glossed over it. You have any interest in Shinobi Art of Vengeance or Ninja Gaiden Ragebound? Because they're both made by developers that you like. Actually, Ninja Gaiden is made by the Game Kitchen, the devs that made Blasphemous and Blasphemous 2. And Shinobi is made by the devs that made Streets of Rage 4.
Right. Yeah, I definitely have a little interest. I'm probably gonna play the demo, especially for Shinobi, and see if I actually like it or not. Because like I have interest, but I also get frustrated by those kinds of games really easily.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. But
luckily the checkpoint systems in both are pretty generous.
Okay, good.
They're not arcade games or like old Nintendo games, so it's not like you have 3 lives and you have to start the whole level over. No, you just start from the checkpoint.
Okay, good. That was the part that I was the most worried about.
So you can just bash your head against the wall until you figure it out, without having to start all the way from the beginning.
That makes
also
me feel better
with Ninja Gaiden.
I'll definitely.
I think with both actually, there are checkpoints right before the boss, so you don't have to replay a section of the level to get back to the boss. You just go straight from the beginning of the boss.
Sick. Okay.
Which I hate. I hate that Souls games don't do that. Most like there's some. There are some bosses that will let you start from like right in front of the boss, like there's a bonfire or a site of grace near it, but most of the time you have to fight through a bunch of enemies just to get to the boss again. I'm like, bro, the boss is already hard as balls. Why do I need to also have to navigate through hell just to get back there?
And that's the problem I'm having with Bloodborne right now because I don't think there's a checkpoint like before the cleric beast. So I have to fight my way and get mauled by 17 dogs and giant rats only to get to the boss and have it squish me to a pulp immediately. It's insane. Yeah. That's like I play games like that and I'm like you like people who are into Souls like you play this willingly and get enjoyment out of it?
Masochist.
Ow. Exactly.
But yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, same here.
I'm Dijon. You can find my ads above me and our areas that are above them. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel if you want to see more storytelling content and to click the notification bell so that you're notified when we post. Peace.